Have you ever asked yourself, where does all my time go? Is it a myth or is it true that we all have 24 hours in a day? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, where we talk about things that motivate us, educate us, and engage us. It's for our communities, it's for our families, it's for our parents. And I just want to encourage us that even if you feel enabled and empowered, there might be someone around you that might need to hear this. So please share, like, and subscribe. So today we're looking at, where does all the time go? Margaret had to, Jimmy had to reconsider the fact that, is it true that we all have 24 hours in a day? I really had to consider that question. And I realized that technically, yes, we all have 24 hours because that's how everything has been designed. You have the day, you have the night time, and it's about what you do with it. But realistically, practically, we need to consider some other aspects. The usable amount of time, the usable amount of energy, the usable amount of your ability in any given venture is very important. So in a way, this is what we need to consider. It's not just about, we all have 24 hours. So what are you doing with your time? I think we need to also consider, not be judgmental about the other person, to say maybe it's about their health, maybe what they can do with their 24 hours is not the same thing what you can do because you're able. Maybe it's about parenting. We have a lot of where we have parents that are stay-at-home moms and they have to do a lot to take care of their children, and that's one of the reasons why people get challenged most of the time. They feel a sense of insecurity and low self-esteem because they're at home, they can't keep the house tidy. But are we considering other factors that impact on their health, impact on their time, and the children that we are bringing up? So these are the things that are very important when we consider the 24 hour. What are we doing with it? Because if we don't look at it from that perspective, we'll tend to judge one another, we'll tend to hit down on one another, and in the sense we make people feel less confident, they feel insecure, they feel that they can't do things. I'd rather talk about what can you do with the time you have, and that's what I want to emphasize. Your time as a parent, you will need to consider that your time as a part-time staff, your time in your studies, your time in building a business. What time are you putting in? What's your ability? What's your effort? I think these are the things that we really need to consider so that we can be enabled, we can engage, and we can support one another practically and effectively. One of the things I'd like to say, just to to a little bit more emphasis about what are we doing. So I'm going to look at the parents. If you're at home right now, why don't we think about, okay, what do I do at home? Do I wash? Do I clean? Do I cook? Do I put baby to sleep? Do I homeschool in the pandemic? What am I doing? And I think that if we now put effort into considering and reflecting on it, we'll be able to know where our time is actually going, and then we can be informed and do something better with it. So I want to give us a tip here. It's about, what are the must-do activities? What are the activities that we're doing? So working, sleeping, getting ready either for school, for work, for an exercise. So the time you take in having a bath or showering or getting the children ready is time. What about the time it takes you to travel to where you're going? Do you have to walk to school? Do you have to take the bus? Do you have to drive? What about the laundry? How long does it take you to wash your clothes? Do you do it once a week? Do you do it twice a week? Considering electricity and everything else that you need to use. What about meals? How long does it take you to cook a meal? Do you have to cook and store things in the freezer? Do you have to cook at one batch? We know how we are because of the busyness of our schedules. We might decide to let's cook and keep it so that we just bring it out to reheat. What about shopping? We do a lot of shopping online, or sometimes we might want to go to the market. Do I go to the market twice a week, once a week? These are things that I feel are very important. What about cleaning and household? Do you decide to clean, or do you have a cleaner that helps you? Do you clean once a week, twice a week? We know how messy our children can get, and you have to keep on tidying up after them. How long do you really think that takes you? And what about budgeting? We sit down at times, we have to do a lot of paperwork. I don't like paperwork, so I don't know about you. But then you have to consider, oh gosh, I've got to, bills, I've got to pay. Do I pay my bills monthly? Is it direct debit? What time do I sit down to work on that? What about all this, putting it together, adding up those hours? Remember, we all have 168 hours a week. So if you now think about, do I sleep 7 hours? Do I sleep or 4 hours? Do I clean for these hours? What you might need to do is add up all those hours that you do your stuff, I do all my stuff, and deduct it from the 168 hours per week. Then you will know where your time goes. And then you can think of, what do I have left in from the 168 hours per week? And that's another thing we'll talk about leisure another time. Thank you for listening today. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you have any comments, please like, share, and subscribe.